Guess what time it is?
We should go make a spritz.
Let's make a spritz. Oh my god, I'm literally so hungover.
Ugh, just send me to jail.
We should needlepoint after this. I have got to be in bed at 9 p.m.
I hope no one ever asks me to hang out again.
I definitely need another spritz.
Okay, pause. Okay, everyone, welcome Alexis and Nicole to the podcast. As I said previously, they're the founder of Aprés Hours, canned espresso martinis, and we are so excited to have them here today to chat with us about their background, about building a company, about being female founders. It's going to be a really great conversation, so we're so excited to have you guys here. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you for having us. We're so happy to be here.
Yeah.
And I'm Nicole, by the way.
And I'm Alexis.
Well, we are really, really excited about it. I guess we'll just jump right into you guys' story. We are dying to know, where are you from? Why are you in Dallas right now? Kind of give us, your background. Did you always know that you guys wanted to be entrepreneurs? What's your, origin story?
Yeah, so we're both from Dallas. I'm from Plano, and Nicole is from Prosper. But we both live in Dallas right now. We're literally 5 seconds away from each other house-wise. So we're always near and dear to our hearts and everywhere in the neighborhood. We love Dallas, but we love to travel as well. So Dallas is such a great hub to, travel to absolutely wherever you want to go. So that's kind of where, we landed, and it's our hometown. But
yeah, we actually met. We both worked for a PR firm. Alexis actually worked there a long time before I did, and she hired me. It was a national PR firm that is in Addison, and that's how we met, and we became really good friends just through working together. It was really fun. We were both there together for a little under a year, and then we both left. I ended up working for a boutique PR firm, and then Alexis worked for a national watch company doing all their marketing.
Oh, awesome.
And we were doing that for about,
2 years?
2, 3 years?
Yeah, 2 or 3 years.
2 or 3 years, and then COVID happened.
COVID, quarantine, mainly. Okay, COVID's still around, obviously, we know that, but quarantine happened, and we were stuck in our houses, and we were dying and wanting an espresso martini. So we went to the old Royal Blue in Highland Park Village, where we worked every single day together, because we're not staying in our houses, we have to go somewhere. So we went to Royal Blue. We were kind of talking about, we love our jobs, obviously, but there's something more. We're both such creatives, we need to do something more. And we started coming up with this idea that Nicole essentially came up with.
Yeah, I mean, we both love espresso martinis, and I think during quarantine, we were still doing our jobs, but it was a lot slower, and I think we both love the fast-pacedness of marketing, PR, the events, all the things, and we had a lot more free time when we didn't have any of that going on. So it kind of gave us time to sit and brainstorm. I think both of us have always wanted to be entrepreneurs. We've talked about it. And like I said, when we were in PR before, and we left, we remained really good friends. And whenever we were kind of talking about how we always wanted to start a company, we were like, well, why don't we do something together? We both are really good friends, and we both know how we work together. We were coworkers first, which was so helpful.
Yeah, that is nice.
So we know we work well together, and then we were like, okay, so what is the idea? We both love espresso martinis. We love happy hours. Happy hour was our thing. Even pre-quarantine, we love to just get together.
Happy hour. After hours.
After hours. After work hours, happy hour. We kind of came up with the idea just sitting, drinking on wine, because that was the only thing available at the time, and we were so over drinking wine. We were shopping around grocery stores. I don't think we really even stepped foot into liquor stores until quarantine, because again, that was one of the only things that was open. We love the liquor store staying open, and we were craving an espresso martini. We love the caffeine, we love the energy, we love the pick-me-up while we're sipping, drinking, and everyone during quarantine would kind of have that okay, it's 3 o'clock, I'm just gonna start drinking.
We're 11 a.m. It's truly.
It's at my work day.
11 a.m. Who's drinking right now? Let's go.
And we were like, we need something that's not going to make us tired by 6 p.m. So we went to the liquor store and we're like, all right, let's try to make our own espresso martini at home. Like, this will be fun. And we went and we tried. We didn't have an espresso machine. So everything we made was just like Keurig version, cold brew version. There are some hard coffees out there, but nothing even resonated towards being like even close to an espresso martini. And we're like, okay, I think we're onto something. Like, what if we potentially put it in a can? Like, nobody's done it before. Why don't we try? And that's kind of where we got started with having that idea.
Yeah, I mean, there are hard coffees out there, like Kahlua, Pabst Blue Ribbon, hate to name names, but I'm going to do it anyways. But they were all filled with dairy. I mean, they just didn't taste right. It wasn't like the luxury espresso martini that you get at a bar. I mean, like when you're going to a bar or restaurant, like girlies are taking pictures of their espresso martini because you feel like, you know, elegant, you're like bougie as fuck, like all of that. So it's just like, you want that feeling. So we wanted to make that feeling into a can.
I love that. Jinx.
I knew we were going to say that at the same time.
I think it's the smartest idea ever. I'm like, how did no one come up with that before? Like, y'all are genius for this.
I also feel like it's really one of a kind. Like, I've never seen anything else like it. I'm so curious, genuinely, where did you get the name Aprés Hours? Like, how did you come up with that? Like, because I feel like when I think of Aprés, I think of like Aprés ski, Aspen, stuff like that. Like, what's the story there?
So that's exactly what we wanted people to think. We actually came up with a list of names. And went to our local favorite spot, Beverly's, which has our favorite espresso martini. And our second on the list, one was After Hours and one was Aprés. And both, like, second on the list for both of us. And we both love skiing. We both love Aprés skiing. And usually when you're doing Aprés skiing, you're drinking an espresso martini.
Yeah, you're like tired off the slopes, need a pick-me-up. So it's kind of the go-to drink, I feel like, after skiing. I mean, especially in Aspen, but any ski town, people love, like, the hard coffee pick-me-up.
Yeah, because you need a little pick-me-up after skiing. You have to. So we really got the name from that. That was really the inspiration. And we both agreed on it. And it was literally like 5 minutes into our little happy hour, after hours dinner. And we're like, all right, that's the name. That's what we're sticking with.
I know. I felt like we were picking baby names. I was so nervous because, like she said, we decided to do it separately because we're like, we don't want to any like one's ideas to kind of overlap. We just want to sit separately, like make a list of like 10 names, and then we'll meet over happy hour and we'll go through like our list, starting with like our least favorite and then work up to our most favorite. And we just kept like naming names, and we had Aprés in there. We had like After Hours. Like we were trying to think of things that like kind of resonated with an espresso martini and kind of like the lifestyle, or just like drinking in general. Like, what do you do after work, like after hours? And we both had that on our list, and we're like, okay, done.
I don't know if you'll feel this way, but I feel like just when we were trying to figure out the name for this podcast, it was one of the hardest things about starting it, like, was the name.
I know, I almost felt like we had everything else together, and then there's so much pressure to like come up with one name that's going to encapsulate like your whole brand.
I know.
So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we thought, but I think Nicole and I, obviously working together and just being best friends and all of that, and like literally like hanging out every second of our lives, I think it was a little bit easier. I'm not going to say it's easy. It was easy, but at least we thought the same way as far as just like where we were going, what our vision was, and like just knowing that we had picked almost the same name, like on our second choice, was just like, okay, wow, this is it. This is meant to be.
Yeah, right.
Meant to be. Meant to be.
Aprés, I mean, it's super fun. It means like, you know, anything you do after something. It's kind of like a celebratory word.
Yeah.
And we wanted the name to resonate not just with an espresso martini itself, but kind of like a lifestyle of like celebrating life. Like, it's fun to drink with friends, and just like people do that in so many other cultures just to like celebrate like being together. So we wanted it to be a name that kind of could be more than the espresso martini, like obviously of merch, and like we wanted it to be lifestyle as well.
Yeah.
I love that. The merch
Like
is
Nicole's hat right now is the Espresso
Yes.
Martini Club, our best-selling hat thus far. So
cute.
It's so cute. I was telling them before we started recording that my boyfriend is obsessed with wearing this hat. Like, it's the one thing he
I
always
love
steals.
it.
And I'm like, he never steals anything from me. And then I'll walk downstairs and I'm like, why are you wearing my hat again? He's like, I don't know. I just like love the fit of this one. Like, he really is feeling himself in this hat.
I love that.
I think everyone needs to get it. Like, it's his number one favorite thing.
Agreed.
It's so cute. And y'all can get it with our code.
Yes, the
Yes.
code is Spritz15, and you can go to drinkapréshours.com to purchase it, and you can also purchase espresso martinis with it. So espresso martinis, and then add to cart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'll be 15% off for all the listeners. So
Yeah.
excited about that.
Y'all.
Yeah, y'all will definitely have to like go check that out for sure.
Mhm.
Okay, segueing because I have another question because I'm just like genuinely curious. You start this during COVID, like what's the timeline of everything? Because you still like both very much have full-time jobs going on. Like, yes, it's quarantine, so it's not as busy, but like at what point were you like, okay, this is my full-time job now, like just Aprés Hours? Like you were able to leave your 9 to 5, or like what was the transition of that whole process, like running a company on the side of doing full-time work?
I will say quarantine definitely helped. I think if we were in the midst of normal life doing our jobs, we would not have had time or probably thought to make time for it. But because we did have a little extra time on our hands, it was really helpful to do both. And we made it a point, I think once we had the idea, we kind of were like, okay, this is cool. This is a good idea. How can we potentially execute? So we made a list of people who we could kind of get feedback from.
Mhm.
We both, like I said, worked in PR before our other jobs. I guess I was still in PR, but we did hospitality PR mainly. So we knew a lot of people in the industry, hospitality, alcohol. So we made a list of people who we thought could potentially give us, you know, their feedback, like yes, no, or not me, but I know someone who could potentially help you guys,
Mhm.
or I think it's a good idea, but you should think about this. So gosh, we made like a really long list of people and made it a point to meet with probably like 3 or 4 of them a week, whether it was a Zoom call or like a coffee outside or
That's
a
great.
phone call, whatever it was, just because we did have that time to do that. And that was so helpful, because if one person, you know, didn't have the connection, I think people get excited when you think of them in order to like help you, and people want to help you usually. So it was really beneficial for us, because a lot of the people that ended up kind of helping us get this off the ground were introductions met through like someone on our list from the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, one of the humans that we met with in the beginning, he's still to this day one of our advisors because he believes in us from the beginning. So it's just like so nice and reassuring that, you know, we had people in the beginning that believed in us. And obviously there were people that didn't believe in us and said, this will never work. You guys are crazy. Like, this is an oversaturated industry, all of that. I mean, we got that feedback, but that luckily we had each other and we're like, that's not going to stop us.
Yeah, it kind of gave us more drive. So that's kind of how we segued into it while still working. And then I think from meeting with people, genuinely, it was just a snowball effect from there. I mean, Lauren Bostic always says this, but like if you do at least like one thing every day to like slightly move the needle and go to bed, then like wake up, it just like compounds from there.
Yeah.
And it happens so fast. Like every day we'd slightly move the needle, but you don't realize it like day to day. But I think one day we woke up and we were meeting with co-packers. Like we were going to Houston, we were going to LA, we were meeting with flavor houses. Like everything started happening so fast because we just kept moving along with it. And we both told each other, if we hit a big stopping point, you know, then we'll let it go. But it was really cool because we just kind of kept meeting with people and kept going, and people were excited about the idea. And I think there's, you know, it hadn't been done before. There wasn't really anything like what we were talking about, and people love that. And especially in the alcohol industry, there aren't really that many female alcohol brands in general or like are in the alcohol space. So it was really cool for us to kind of be able to break in that way. And I think a lot of people in the industry were receptive because they were ready to see that change.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I have a question. So, y'all are obviously very successful entrepreneurs. So, what is something you would tell maybe someone who was wanting to start their own business or something like that? What's your best piece of advice?
Don't be scared and don't listen to negative feedback. Nicole and I actually didn't tell anybody about our idea for about 6 months.
Really?
Obviously, like the people that we're meeting with and people that, we trusted in the industry, we told, but like our friends, we told our family, of course, just because we're family oriented, but we didn't tell anybody for 6 months because we didn't want that feedback of like, will it work? Will it not work? So just don't be scared to start because we had no idea what we were doing. We didn't come from this industry. We just did a lot of research. We met with people. So it's just like, go for it and see what happens. And you never know. If you fail, you fail. If you don't, it is what it is.
Yeah. And you learn by, failures, setbacks. Like we've definitely had along the way, it wasn't always rainbows and butterflies. We definitely had. Looking back, it feels like it was. But I feel like day to day, we were like, we hit like a small roadblock. Like, how are we going to overcome it? But I think my advice, like what I said earlier, is just kind of do something every day to just move the needle a little bit. If it's sending one more email to reach out to someone, if it's, sending one more email, pitching your idea, just whatever it is to get to your end goal. I think looking at things smaller instead of big, like our big picture was, we want to launch an espresso martini in a can. How do we do that? So just coming up with like micro goals and executing like every day, every week, and then like building from that. And that's literally how Aprés Hours came to life.
Our baby was born.
So, kind of going along with that, like, what are some of the challenges that y'all faced with starting Aprés Hours? Like, something you didn't expect you were gonna encounter, I guess.
I mean, being female founders in a male-dominated industry was definitely difficult. We really have never met with females in the industry. I mean, obviously, some of our mentors are females, but predominantly males in the alcohol industry. So, I mean, we kind of figured that going into it, but really diving into everything, we were like, wow, this is completely male dominated. So that was a bit of a shock for us, for sure.
Yeah, I also think like ignorance is bliss. When you start something, a lot of people never start something if they have an idea because they look at it like it's so scary. How am I ever going to do this big picture thing? But if you really just take it slow and do something every single day. And I mean, we didn't know what we were doing until we did it. Or if a challenge came up, we kind of figured it out. Like, obviously, we're starting a company during quarantine, so things were moving slower. It was harder to meet with people in person. Like, we had to taste a lot of things. So we were having to ship samples back and forth, and it would take a lot longer. I think the process for us, we thought it was going to be quicker because we're in marketing and PR. We're used to happening overnight. So when it didn't, I think that was kind of hard for us. But looking back, it was just every challenge was like a learning experience. And now we have like all this knowledge under our belt. And I think, we moved slower than we thought, but I think at the end of the day, it happened for a reason, because if we would have launched too quick, or if we would have not had the time we did to really like take time and like develop the flavor, develop the brand, like it wouldn't be what it is today.
Hit us.
Dying to know what the tasting process was like. Interesting too, because I feel like it's something nobody really talks about. It's like, okay, you're starting a drink. Do you just like Google like what are factories that make alcoholic beverages and flavor them? Like, how do you even find that? And like,
then do you go to tastings? Like, who makes it? A chemist? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like Nicole mentioned before, ignorance is bliss. Before, we thought, a bartender, we know a lot of bartenders, we'll just have them whip it up, a couple recipes, boom, put it in a can, and we're done. But that was not the case at all. So we actually have a flavor house. I kind of compare it to like Willy Wonka.
Okay, so it's like exactly.
Yeah, it is. I mean, like, there's chemists, obviously, but I always compare it to Willy Wonka. What did I used to call it? Like a flavor factory?
Yeah, like the flavor factory.
The flavor factory. And I still to this day will call it a flavor factory. So the flavor factory, we went and we told them what we wanted, what we didn't want. We wanted dairy-free, gluten-free. I'm a little gluten intolerant, so obviously we couldn't have that. And we wanted dairy-free just because you can always add your own dairy to it. But they are based in California. So went there, and then after that, they would send us samples. So we went through 27 different samples of each flavor. So that was probably our longest process besides legal. And it was just tweaking it just a bit, like every single time, especially it was so hard down to the last like 5 or 10 because it was like, what is missing? What do we need to tweak? Because again, we didn't come from this industry. We have great taste buds, but everybody has different taste buds. So we just, kept tasting it and kept sending it back, and then finally got to the formula that we wanted and went with it.
I wouldn't even know what to tell them to change. I'd be like, something's off. Like, I don't know what it is.
We had a lot of people in the industry who we like gave our samples to, and we're like, give us your feedback, just because, I mean, we know what we like, but we wanted to make sure other people who especially deal with alcohol all the time that it tasted right to them as well. So it's really helpful to get a group of people who were really knowledgeable in the industry to kind of help us out a little bit as well.
So what is the alcohol that's in it technically? Like, is it vodka or like...
So it's technically tequila. It's agave wine base. So agave is basically tequila, but it's fermented instead of distilled. So it's not like that hard alcohol, but it's fermented. So it still has that sweetness from the agave plant, which was great because we didn't want to add any sugar. We didn't want to add anything to it. We've always talked about maybe doing one with like real vodka or real tequila. But when getting started, we really just wanted it to be the alcohol and the espresso, no added anything, and just keep it simple.
I think it's perfect because I personally don't like anything super sugary or sweet, and it's perfect. Like, I've been tasting, I'm like,
you can always add to it. Like, you can have fun with them. I think that's what the best part about them is. The alcohol is there, the espresso is there. If you want to add a little more alcohol, you can. If you want to add some your favorite dairy-free or dairy creamers. Like, you can add anything to them and make them your own, and that's what we wanted people to do. But if you start putting too much in it, then you can take away from that.
Okay, so how has it been though, like learning to be a boss? And I'm assuming you guys have hired other employees like since this process, or are y'all still just like y'all two and then consulting with people, or like what does that look like for you now?
Yeah, so we do have employees. We have sales team, and then we have interns, and then through our distributor, we also have a full sales team as well. Then we have our PR team. So it's been amazing and hard and difficult and fun and all
the things.
All of the feelings, for sure. I mean, yes, like Nicole said, like we thought it was going to be rainbows and butterflies, but also at the same time, it is difficult. I mean, this is like a powerhouse industry, and we didn't realize that at the time, but now, of course, we are definitely realizing it.
We're definitely aware.
Yeah, we are in it.
That's so like cool. I cannot imagine myself as a boss. Like,
no,
you just hired our first podcast intern who's working. Yeah, that's like kind of our first experience with having an employee. So that's why I wanted to ask that question, because I'm like, it is like so different than how you picture it, and also like just, I don't know, like wanting to have like a positive environment for people and like be a good role model and like giving feedback. All that stuff makes me like so nervous because I view myself as like an intern still.
No, me too.
I don't know why I was an intern for so long at so many different things, and I'm like, it's hard for me to like not
Wrap
think
your
of
head around
myself as an intern still.
Yeah,
I don't know.
exactly.
It's such a funny thing.
I know. I think everything is just like trial by error and like you learn by
Yeah.
doing. We are so hands-on still. I mean, we are still so new to this industry. We had the idea in 2020, but it really didn't come into fruition until mid 2021. And that's kind of when we started going back to work, and we decided to go all in and both quit our jobs and, you know, do this full time. But everything is just learning by doing. And I think you just have to just jump in and say yes. Like if we need an employee, like we'll figure out how to manage someone. And if we need X, we'll figure out how to do it. It just kind of, every day is adjusting.
Yeah.
Like how well you adjust is how well, you know, your business is going to thrive, I think.
Yeah, I mean, like, when we came up with the idea to actually going to market, we've only been in the market for a year. So it took us about 2.5 years to create the product, create the design. Legal took forever. So it was just a long path. And then once we got to the market, we decided to hire employees.
So what's kind of been like a pinch me moment for you guys ever since starting this?
I think whenever we saw our product on the shelves places and we were selling it, that was kind of a, oh my gosh, we did it. Because we had worked so long at this point. Like in our heads, we've been in business for, you know, since 2020 just because we started thinking about it then.
Yeah.
But in reality, it took a lot longer than that. So whenever we saw on the shelves, we were like, oh my gosh, we did it. Like we had the idea, we had the vision, and we put it on the shelves, and now other people can purchase it. And I think that was really cool for us, especially because it was, you know, it was a process and it was a journey, and we entered an industry that we really didn't know that much about in the beginning. So being able to figure it out and us being able to launch, coming from like, you know, just not really knowing that much about it was really cool. And I think, like I said, the 2 years was a blessing in disguise because it was like we learned so much, so much. And don't be afraid to ask for help too. Like Alexis said, we had a consultant. Like
We still do. We still ask for help.
we have so many people who we always reach out to. We love meeting new people. We still go to happy hour with people to get industry knowledge, industry insight. Like we're babies in the industry. Like alcohol brands can be around for 5 years before, you know, like we figure out about it or someone hears about it who's not in your like local community. So we still have a long way to go, but I definitely think just seeing it on the shelves in Texas, we were like, oh my gosh, like our baby is literally on the shelves in Dallas. That's crazy.
I love it. I feel like it's the cutest branding ever. Like I'm sitting here staring at the can right now, but it's the cutest branding. And then y'all, literally it says slide into our DMs.
Slide in.
That's so
I love that. Do you guys see yourself like ever going on like on tap like in a restaurant or something like that? Like right now I'm assuming it's all like off-premise sales. So like you would buy it at like a liquor store, grocery store or something like that. Like could you ever see yourself like being on a menu anywhere?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we're in on-premise accounts, mainly bars, but we would love to do on tap. It's just more of a different process, I would say. But that would be ideal, obviously. We have some fun things in the works for this coming year. So that could be new product, new something. We can't tell, but we do have some things up our sleeves, as always. So it'll be a fun year for sure.
I'm so excited to know what it is.
I know.
I mean, I'm so excited for y'all. When did y'all launch again?
We
When did it
launched
officially?
end of 2022, so about a year ago.
Yeah, I feel like I literally remember when y'all launched because I went into a liquor store like by my apartment building, and I guess was there like a table? There was like a little pop-up situation. We were like, this is so cute. We did like a taste test. We were like, these are so good and so smart. These cute girls started this. Like, we're obsessed.
You were the one who told me about it too, because I remember when that happened, and then I don't know what I was doing. I think I was actually trying to make an espresso martini at home, and you were like, oh, you should just buy Aprés Hours. It's like so much easier, because I didn't have an espresso machine either. And I don't know why. Is this a common thing? Like people think they can make espresso martinis without espresso machines? Because I like went to the store, bought all this stuff, and then realized, I was like, I think it just had like a Keurig or something. And I was like, oh, this is like not espresso. So I'm also curious about with you guys. Like, I feel like you post a lot on social too, like both of you guys. Like, would you ever classify yourself as content creator in addition to founder? Or are you like purposely just like promoting Aprés Hours on your socials, things like that? Like, how does that aspect of your life like tie in with your brand? Because you both have like quite a good amount of followers online.
I feel like we're both content creators by nature, so obviously brands reach out to us, and we love supporting other brands. So it's kind of just, in our nature to support those brands, and we love, showcasing other things, whether it's clothes or shoes, sunglasses, whatever it is. Nicole's a little bit better than me. I'm kind of like the jokester, and she's more of like the fashionista for sure. As you can tell with my outfit, I'm just wearing a white tank top or white shirt, and she's like glammed up. But I think it's just like we love supporting other businesses because we love when other people support our business. So that's just what a content creator is kind of, that's what it's all about for us.
And I mean, we both come from marketing backgrounds, PR. We love branding, we love marketing, we love social media. That was kind of our bread and butter and how we got started, and that's our passion. So that's the fun part of all of this. Like, whenever we first started, the branding, the social media, how we're going to do all of that was so seamless because that's just what we know and what we're good at. And I think figuring it out after that was obviously the learning curve, but we know how to sell. We're marketing girls to our core, so we knew if we made a product that tasted good and we marketed the shit out of it, then we could sell it.
Yeah, you did a great job. Yeah.
Thank you.
Do you think in today's day and age, like, it's kind of crucial to have that social media, like, online marketing element if you want to launch a brand or like be an entrepreneur? Like, you need to be comfortable, like, putting yourself out there, like, on your social pages, like, maybe not necessarily personally as the founder, but like you have to have like that component, like, somehow, because I feel like personally that's one of my favorite things about y'all's brand is like online you have such a strong presence, and like I feel like I see you guys everywhere, like scrolling through Instagram, scrolling through TikTok, stuff like that. So
yeah, I would say 100%. Even if you're uncomfortable, I mean, talking to the camera is kind of cringe sometimes, but you have to talk to your audience. You have to talk to your, the people that buy your product or that are going to buy your product, and have to connect with them. What do they want? What do they don't? What do they not want? What do they dislike? All of the things. So it's just like really connecting with your audience. Like, you have to be comfortable with it, because now it's just like, you don't just want to be another brand. You don't want to be like a Monster or like a Red Bull. We hate both of those. But you don't want to be like that. They're not connecting with their people. So we always want to connect with our people. We go live on TikTok a lot, and, just connect with, our followers and our new followers, or new people that don't know about us, people that do know about us, that have been there from the start. So it's just really connecting with them and seeing what they like and dislike, and just, having fun with them, because that's what it's all about.
At the beginning, one of our goals was we didn't want to be another faceless brand. And I think, back to your question, it is super important to be able to have some sort of presence on social media when you're launching anything, just to be able to connect to your customer. Like, my purchasing habits, all our purchasing habits, like, we buy things because I saw like Alexis post it and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's cute, like, that's I want to get it. Or you see someone who you know and trust, and that's kind of what the age of like social media is now. People see other people talking about things and want to purchase it because they see them using it in their everyday lives.
Totally.
So I think it's important to not just like launch something, but like kind of make it a part of your lifestyle, which is back to what we were saying earlier, how we want Aprés Hours to be a lifestyle brand. Like, we want you to feel connected to us. We want you to feel connected to the brand. We want people to feel like they can have like that Aprés lifestyle when they're drinking Aprés Hours. And that was kind of our goal. And I think, there's so many big brands right now that don't really have that connection with their consumers. And right now it's definitely so important.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I feel like y'all just say yes to everything. Like, sorry, I'm going back, but I feel like that's probably why y'all are so successful too. I feel like y'all say yes to everything. I always see y'all, and I feel like that's such a good thing to do.
We do.
Yeah.
We do, but we're trying not to.
Like, great.
Like, damn it. Yes, we'll do it, but don't ask us again. But yes, ask us again.
I'm curious, like, what does a day in the life like look like for you guys now? Like you said, like saying yes to everything, you're maybe trying to cut back a little bit. Like, what are y'all's schedules like? Like, are you super busy, or how is your day set up?
Well, we both wake up around 4:30 a.m.
Oh,
She's like,
what?
early bird gets the worm, you know? We're going to bed around like 10 or 11.
Like, not anytime early.
Yeah, we're not crazy.
Okay, so 4:30 a.m. wake up.
Yeah, so 4:30 a.m. wake up. I mean, like 4:45, 4:30. Work out at 5 a.m. And the reason being is just because nobody bothers us between 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. And that's kind of our downtime. Especially being an alcohol company, people bother us like throughout the day, throughout the
Everything's
night.
after hours.
Yeah.
Yes, everything is after hours. So we'll work out at 5 a.m. Then after that, it's kind of like a me time. So we'll journal. She's mainly like the reader of this beautiful partnership. So she likes to read books, and I like to listen to podcasts, and she loves to listen to podcasts. Or I'll just scroll through Instagram and TikTok, whatever it is, like just really your me time and like your zen. And then after that, we'll usually, go into the office, check emails, but we don't do it right away. We don't check our emails right away just because,
Mental health.
mental health for sure.
Yeah, I think we wake up so early because we're addicted to having that time just in the morning and just having that space to be able to think and come up with new ideas. And I mean, if you don't plan your day, I think your day runs you. Like, whenever I don't wake up to work out that early, I feel like I'm already behind. Like, I'm waking up to a phone call, 1,000 texts, I have emails, and I feel like I'm just chasing my day, versus whenever I wake up early, I can kind of get ahead of the day, which is just so nice. And it's just you have to choose your heart. I'd rather get up early than
What's waking up late to you?
like 6:30.
I recently got a puppy, so we've been waking up at like 6, which has been like, ugh, to me. Like, 6 has been hard. But I will say, the mornings I don't do it, I almost miss it because it prompts me to start my day so much earlier than even like before that. I think I was waking up at like 7. And even just that 1 hour, it's like everything.
It's crazy.
Does
It
bother me.
really is
That's
crazy.
the best part. Like, I love not getting an email.
I'm just so addicted to having that time that that's what gets me out of bed. It's not even, I hate waking up early, but just having that time of peace and to ourselves, being able to work out, just like move our bodies, get that natural energy for the day before we jump in is just the reason we do it.
Where do y'all like to work out?
I usually do Pit Fit in Dallas, One Legree, and then we both do Sanders Fit, and am I missing? And then Stay Fit Brit. If I'm feeling a little bit not lazier, but like don't want to leave the house, I'll do like a virtual with Stay Fit Brit. But yeah, One Legree, Pit Fit, and then Sanders Fit.
I love One Legree.
So where can everybody find you guys?
So you can find us on at drinkapréshours.com. So we have a store locator, and then you can also buy all 3 flavors online as well. And then with your code SPRITZ15, you get 15% off. So win-win on that. Only online, not in store, but yes, store locator. Go look at that. Go see your nearest, Tom Thumb, Albertsons, whatever it is, and go get you some espresso martinis.
And then you can also follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Drink Aprés Hours. We're really fun on there. Do giveaways. We're there live all the time. Alexis is always live, so it makes it fun.
I've been live today, and like people were like giving me like pickup lines, and I was like, I'm kind of into this.
Oh my gosh.
But also like buy After Hours.
Yeah, so you can hang out with us on social media.
Do you want to give your personal ones too?
Yes, so you can follow Alexis at Lex in the City on both TikTok and Instagram.
And then mine is Nicole Crave on TikTok and Instagram as well.
Yay! Well, thank you girls so much for coming on.
Thank you for having us. It's been so fun.
I know. Thanks for trading your spritz for a teeny today.
It's been fun to switch it up.
It happens.
Oh, shakes up.
Yeah, oh my gosh, we really have. Like, this is, I think, the first episode where we haven't drinking a spritz. And I'm going to be honest, I have way more energy at this end of the
There you go.
than I normally do. So,
these
I mean, it's Friday, ladies.
I know it is Friday.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, and everyone remember to buy the hat also. Sorry, that's like
It's
so
so
random, but it's really like the cutest hat. I'm very passionate about it. Everyone should get the hat. With that being said, it looks like it's time for us to wrap up. If you enjoyed the Spritz O'Clock talk today, please make sure to DM me and Rives on Instagram with any questions, comments, concerns, ideas, feedback. You guys can always find us at It's Amanda DeWitt on TikTok and Instagram and at Rives_Lee. And we will see everyone here next Tuesday for a new episode. Bye. Bye.